Mark Rogers TV talking Miami football. We've got Antoine Staley on the line from Athlon Sports. Join him there in his coverage of the U and also the Dolphins Wire, the NFL platform right there. He's the managing editor of the Dolphins Wire. If you go back to Mark Richt's first season at Miami, of course, 8-4, then very impressive in the bowl win against West Virginia. Last season, we know what happened. They take the step up. They win the Coastal. They get to an ACC championship game. And yeah, it ended ugly in the last 3 games. But considering all of that and where they've recruited the last few seasons, your expectations, at least early on, not going to hold you to these, no prediction or anything like that, Antoine. Because if you're anything like me, you hold out on those predictions until like the Thursday before the season starts. But just your thoughts about where these expectations should be, considering the status of the program, the coach you've got in play, the recruiting classes, and everything coming back.
Well, I think Miami is a contender in the ACC. I definitely think right now they're the favorite to win the Coastal. I think Virginia Tech is probably the only team, at least on paper, that could challenge them. And they have issues as well, but they'll have a starting quarterback coming back in Josh Jackson, who's he was very consistent at times, but I thought he did play particularly well there. But the game is in Blacksburg, so I think that's going to be kind of a swing game there. Whoever wins that game, I think, is going to win the ACC Coastal. But you look at Miami. Obviously, they got Florida State coming to South Florida. They got North Carolina coming to South. They have a lot of favorable games going forward. Obviously, I don't think the LSU game, whether they win or lose, is going to determine their season. I know a lot of people want Miami to be a national championship picture. I don't think that's going to be the case. They don't play Clemson, so until the ACC championship. So I think they can set themselves up for a really good year. It may not be what Miami fans expected winning the national championship, but we're talking about a team that has not won a conference championship since they joined the conference. And I think just last year was a stepping stone, the fact that they actually played in Charlotte against Clemson, even though they got blown out. And let's see how they learn and maturate from that. If they can learn and figure out a team, like how to compete and actually beat a team like Clemson, who's, to me, is going to be the #1 team in the country. I think even over Alabama with all of their everything that's coming back there, that's going to be a stepping stone for them. And I think overall, no matter what happens, I like the direction Mark Richt is going with this program.
Yeah, Miami fans have to think, why don't we own this division? We've seen Duke jump up and grab a division title. Georgia Tech's done it. North Carolina's done it recently.
Everybody's done it.
Pretty much everybody in the division's been good at some point. And at one point, a couple of years ago, when Miami wasn't that good, the entire division was like 7-5. It just wasn't a very good division. But we've seen a couple of teams jump up and be good for a year or two. And Virginia Tech and Miami would be the two programs, obviously, that would seem to be the teams that would be the most consistent near the top of the division. But when you just look at the recruiting footprint in South Florida, and then obviously when the Canes take advantage of that, as they have the last few seasons in particular, but even before that, there should really be a separation in the division.
Yeah, it should be. Considering all the assets and the resources that they have. But the fact of the matter is other teams have been picking from, and including Mark Richt when he was at Georgia, picking from the Hurricanes, the recruiting base. So, yeah, that's kind of what it boils down to. You have to be able to keep the best players in the state and keep it in your area, and that's something that they have not been able to do. And Alabama, that's something that Alabama has been able to do. They've been able to grab South Florida talent. You look at Calvin Ridley, who's going to be a top 10, 15 pick in the NFL draft from Deerfield Beach. He's somebody that, I mean, you look at like, how do you let somebody like that get out of the state? So it's a definitely interesting dynamic, but I think Miami is learning ways to keep players in the state, and it's all about winning. If you win consistently, then players are going to want to stay home and play in front of their families. But if you're not, and also not putting out NFL talent, then they're going to go elsewhere. And Alabama and Nick Saban has proven that not one, they win, and two, they put out NFL talent, and that's where players are going to gravitate towards.
Antoine Staley joining us from Athlon Sports to talk Miami football. Antoine, first time on Mark Rogers TV. We appreciate it. Enjoyed the discussion. Hopefully you can come back sometime.